What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel with another video on Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So in this video, what I'm going to be talking about are things that I want to hear addressed in the very first live stream that they're going to be doing for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. They announced that the first live stream is going to be on September 26th. On top of that, they're actually going to be giving us 26 stamina potions, which is awesome. It is going to be a Japanese live stream, so just keep in mind and also make sure to kind of translate your time zones if you guys are going to be watching that stream. I think for me, it's like 4 a.m. Pacific, which is really early. I don't know if I'll be up in time, but I'll try to watch it afterwards. I'll be leaving the link to that live stream. It's going to be on YouTube in the video description as well as the pinned comment. You could go to it now and set yourself a reminder. So in case you are going to be up to watch it, it is right there and it's ready for you. So what are some things that I want to see or hear addressed in the live stream? So one of the things, first of all, is I want to talk about some good things that I hopefully they address. Is I want to see how much content that they're going to be expanding on the game, such as the upcoming story with a certain one-winged angel that was teased already. If you had already completed the story, I'd love to hear details on that. Obviously, I want to hear some details about like what kind of events they have planned for us, who's going to be getting brand new weapons. Something that I would love for them to start doing is giving us like a roadmap of events, because what that does is it effectively allows players to kind of plan ahead and be like, okay, I'm going to skip that banner, I'm going to save my crystals for that banner. A lot of games do this. Dissidia Opera Omnia does this. I believe FFBE and War of the Visions still do something like that, but it's very, very helpful to have some sort of a roadmap, and I hope that they actually bring that up to topic, because it's going to help the community kind of plan ahead with their resources, especially for those that are more free to play or even just very, very light spenders. So that's something that I would love to hear from this stream. Now, there are some things on this stream that I would love for them to address, but it's wishful thinking. There's two very serious topics that I hope they address. So the first one is, why is SEA and other regions restricted access from this game, even through VPN? Right? They restricted VPN access and they don't have the game available for those regions. This was marketed as like a global release, and it's kind of sad that it really isn't, because there's a huge market that's literally being ignored for God knows what the reason is. I still hope they address that, because there's a lot of SEA players that really were looking forward to this game. They somehow had access to the beta, which was weird, but then they don't have access to the actual official launch. So I would love for them to say something about that and to give reasons as to why, and hopefully they like make a better decision and actually allow these regions to play, because like I don't know how it could hurt their business to allow another region to be able to play their game. And then another one, and this one is pretty serious. So it was alerted to me on my Discord that certain regions, the crystal bundles cost more than like some other ones. Like for example, I think the most expensive crystal bundle in USD is like $69.99. I understand that at Europe it's like 80 pounds or something like that, which translates to $98 USD. So essentially you're spending an additional $28 USD if you're buying the bundles in that region. That makes no sense. To me, that's like robbing your customers. Like, why would you charge another region more than that? Like, I don't understand, right? It should just be the same across the board. I know that there's some games that have like certain price differences. I know Dissidia Opera Omnia, the costume bundles on the global side is a little bit cheaper than the JP side, but it's not by a glaring $28 USD. It's like $8 or something like that, if I remember correctly. So that, I mean, I don't think they're going to address it, but that's something that I hope that they do address, because that's pretty serious. If one market is being charged a certain amount and then the other one is being charged more, and it's not just a small amount. Like I said, it's $28 difference, which is a lot. That's a lot of money, you know, for those, especially for those of you that are investing in the game, that are spending money on the game. Really hope they talk about that. Wishful thinking, but let's hope that they do. Some other things that I want them to talk about is if they're taking feedback from players about what could be improved in the game. One thing they really need to improve is just how things are explained in game. Some of it is very vague or worded like in an odd way, to where like if a brand new player like sees this and they don't have a lot of experience with like JRPGs, or even like casuals, even for me, like I don't consider myself a casual, I play a lot of JRPGs, and there were some things that were just not straightforward. And I understand that there's a certain degree to where you want the player to figure out certain things, but for a live service game like this, if things are too overly complex and things are very vague, I don't know, it just kind of ruins the experience, in my opinion. Like, especially for the materia system, which I think that definitely needs to be addressed, because the materia system, in my opinion, is hot garbage. I'm sorry, it just is. There's just too much RNG involved in multiple different layers. You know, the whole time duration, I thought that that was the maximum time duration, but then if you factor in the pass, it's actually discounted from that. It's so confusing. And the way, like I said, they display it is very, very confusing. I hope that they consider improving that to where they could describe things in a way that players can at least gain a better understanding of the certain mechanics that this game has to offer, because there's a lot of complexity in this game. There are a lot of complexities in this game. Another thing is menu navigation still needs to be worked on. I know this was brought up during the closed beta feedback, but it really feels like they didn't do much to improve the menu navigation. It kind of feels like it's the same thing. Maybe we'll see an update on that soon, because they did address it, but I hope they address it again, because that's something that definitely needs to be improved in the game. Other things that I would like them to consider, not necessarily address on the stream, is I know there's players that wish that the costumes were not locked to the stamp system gacha, but rather you should be able to purchase it with real money with crystals. I don't know if they're ever going to do something like that, but if they ever talk about like the way that they could improve the shop to actually allow different options, because I think if they did something like that, it would actually gain them more revenue, and your player base is going to be so much happier. And then the other thing that I hope that they address, and I know that they've been giving us a lot of these lately, I think because a lot of players have been talking about it, is the stamina. The lack thereof. I know they're giving us 26, which is great. I have talked to a few people in my community that have a lot of stamina pots hoarded because they've been like really stingy with them. But for real, like, this game has a ton of grinding. A lot of things use up stamina, and when you're trying to progress and get your characters as strong as possible, it's like you have to plan ahead and the amount of time that you want to play per day. In my opinion, when you have such a limited resource, I think there needs to be a way that they should improve the stamina system. That needs to be something that I hope they talk about on the stream. Maybe adding in stamina pots as like an exchange reward in like during events. I think players would love that if there's like stamina pots available. Like, for example, with this summer event that we got, if they had stamina potions in the exchange shop, that would have been fantastic, because it would give the player the it would incentivize a player to spend their stamina, and they kind of get refunded for it in a way, which is rewarding. So really, really hope that they address that. And then the last thing that I want to talk about that I hope they address that they could potentially improve is the friends list. 30 friends is just laughable at this point. I mean, even Dissidia Opera Omnia, I'm always going to reference that game because I played that game for over 5 years, and it is a weapon-based system game, like weapon-based gacha, but that game had 300 friends, and even in that game, 300 friends didn't seem like a lot. Like, I kept running out of friends, but this one is 30. It also puts a limit on the amount of friend requests you receive, which is really weird. And then it also limits the amount of friends you could directly invite into co-op, which is very, very strange. I just think that's really weird. I hope that's something that they talk about, that they can look into, consider improving, because overall, it's just really goofy how they designed that system. All right, guys, if there's anything that I missed that you would like to hopefully see discussed in the first live stream, let me know down in the comment section below. What kind of concerns do you guys have that you hopefully that they discuss? What kind of improvements do you want to see from this game that hopefully they bring to our attention, that they're working on it or something? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this topic. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and stay blessed, everybody.